The president hits the road this week to promote his $1 trillion infrastructure plan. Advocates hope support for the rural broadband will be on the agenda. RFD-TV's Sarah Mock has the perspective from Washington, D.C.
Highways, bridges, and airports are critical parts of the American economy. But in the 21st century, digital connectivity is just as important.
If the water goes off, that's kind of a disadvantage. If your lights go off, oh, bummer. If your heat goes off, you'll get a blanket. But if your Wi-Fi goes off, that's a crisis. And that's kind of what happens out there in the world today is we're not going, sociologically, to David's point, to Congressman Scott's point, we're not going to keep these young people on the farm attracted there if they don't have the connectivity they're used to.
But making broadband available in rural communities and at an affordable price is a significant challenge.
So a large company may say, I'm going to put my money in Chicago because that's where it's competitive for me. And frankly, that's where I can make a lot of money. And what happens then is the rural communities that they actually historically have as a service territory get ignored. And the infrastructure is not put in, the investments are not made, and that's a part of rural America that gets left behind.
Small local providers offer an alternative to big companies, but they rely more heavily on government support from programs like the USDA's Rural Utility Service and the FCC's Universal Service.
Providing broadband to rural Americans, on average, standalone broadband costs well over $150 a month. Well, rural Americans can't afford to pay that kind of fee to make sure that they can stay connected. So how do you make sure that they have the same access to it? The two programs really need to work hand in hand. One, you've got to build the network, and the second part is you've got to make sure it's affordable.
The White House says that despite proposed cuts to the rural development budget, infrastructure goals, including rural broadband, are still high on the president's agenda.
The good news is this is square on the radar scope of the president as well as the FCC chairman. I've had conversations with him. He is anxiously awaiting the infrastructure plan where we can ambitiously take rural broadband ubiquitously across the country.
President Trump will be with Secretary Perdue in Ohio on Wednesday to discuss his plan for inland waterways. Advocates hope that the Secretary will be able to use this opportunity to bring rural broadband into the spotlight. In Washington, Sarah Mock, RFD-TV News.
Thank you, Sarah. Now, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai is also on the road this week, visiting rural communities in the Mountain West to discuss connectivity issues. Well, meteorologist Tim Ross has your first check of the weather forecast. That's coming up at 10 past the hour.